Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Mordechai. Today it's her Yahrzeit. The Shama should have an aliyah. She was 49 years old. I'm only now chapping how young that is. 49. So if I don't want to take up the Olam's time, just to describe her in a few words, she sacrificed her life for Torah. She always pushed my father to learn. My father, soll sein gesund, never learned in a kollel. He holds that b'shita, you shouldn't take money for learning, so he never wanted to take money for learning, not in a kollel, not in a position. And she said, you do it, I'll work, I'll do it. And with all that, she was able to do chesed and clean people's homes and be mevak and kollel, all that stuff, but sacrifice for Torah. Whether it meant moving to Eretz Yisrael 3 times, 3 aliyot, and many other things on the way, many other places. Sacrifice for Torah, neshama should have an aliyah. Hayoim tisha asur yoim sheim shnei shavuos v'chamisha yomim ba'omer or la'omer. Sponsored Lili Nishmas Hayalda Sara Aleh Shalom Bas Yibad L'Chaim Reb David, a 10-year-old girl. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Yisrael Markowitz.
Yisrael Markowitz, all the way from North Miami Beach. Here, move over just a drop. All right. Remendi is here. The ganze Olam is here. One email, and then we can jump in. We only have 2 daf left to Ezu Neshech. That's unbelievable. Pesach is over. You're back in Ramat Bet Shemesh, and I'm back in Miami. You know this guy? Daniel Kahani?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's too bad. Oh, you know him.
Yeah.
It's too bad we missed each other. Hashem willing, I'll be able to attend your shir in person next time I come to Israel. I did get to meet David Feinberg from the shir. Turns out we actually knew each other from or a shah call a couple of decades ago. Baruch Hashem, my son Binyamin's bar mitzvah at the call was a great success. And Baruch Hashem, I'm still in the daf wagon. I was able to stay on track during Pesach and the festivities. Rabbi Isai, if you're still on the daf wagon, or even if you rejoined us, yeshakayach to you. Doesn't seem like so many people fell off. Maybe this section over here. Shtickle. Thanks again for everything you do. Rav Eli brings such simcha and tainog, a new word. Tainog to our learning. It's really geschmack to do the daf with you. Shabbat shalom, shavua tov. Daniel Kahani, because pronounced Kahani because I'm originally from Brazil, but I think the correct pronunciation is Kahana. Okay, like the Kahana's in Talmud. Shkoyach. What happened, Nachman? You're still here today? 2 more? So that's 4 days total. Surely was your classmate back in, let's hear all the Chadurim you went to. What? It was more than that. That's the main one. That's what you Givaldik. The Masechet Anonymous, I know these things. I'm holding. The Masechet is anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Peretz Chaim Yosef. Peretz Chaim Levin, Nishmas Rus Bas Rav Mordechai. Oleh Shalom Yishkoyach. Did not see this. Huh? Mother's Day. Today's no. This is. Is it really? Today's Mother's Day. We're not holding. I don't know about these things. Today's always Mother's Day. Okay, let me read this because I hope I hold it together. Mother of Rebbe U'Mori, who's looking down at her son and shepping unbelievable Nachas, Gan Eden, while sitting together with the mothers of all the great Rebbes of Klal Yisroel. Choked me up. Shkoyach. MDY had to go to Coffee Corner Week. Vladislav Zakharov and the schut that I finally find a job. Rabbi Isai were holding daf Ayin Dalid Amud Aleph. Stam, as a note, I don't know if anybody cares, I used to fast on my mother's Yahrzeit. I asked Reb Chaim Kanievsky, happens to be that Reb Chaim Kanievsky and a lot of Gdolim came to the Shiva. We had the Shiva by Rebbe Baruch Finkel's house in Yerushalayim, and Rebbe Yashiv came, and a lot of Gdolim for my father. So I asked Rebbe Chaim if I should fast on my mother's Yahrzeit, and he said that I should, but he recommends that maybe he said something about the first year, but it should be beli neder, and that I could always, you don't want to get stuck. So since I started saying the shir, I felt it was better for the shir if I drink and I'm able to have a coffee in the morning. So today I am not fasting, but it's a good thing to do, I guess. Omar Rav, to find out on the top. Again, another easier daf. Only two more daf Izun Neshach, Chaparayin. And whoever that person was that came up that Izun Neshach is one of the hardest prakim in Shas, oy vavoy to that person. Three people send a guy, like we were in the Mir Yeshiva, sent a guy from the Mir Yerushalayim all the way to Dougie's to buy a bunch of poppers and whatever it was for the Super Bowl. Well, I wasn't involved in that, but that's what they did back in the day. They sent shliach, here's a bunch of money, here, each guy gives him money for the shtick. He came back with the driest poppers you could even imagine. What? It's geschmack. Yeah. So you send three guys, say, hey, buy me some poppers. He comes back, this clown, he comes back with one serving of poppers. Who gets it? Each guy gave him a bundle of money. Here, 3 bundles of money. And he bought for one. Says the Gemara, now the money's mixed in. He took all 3 pouches and he put them all together and he bought. Everybody has a share, everybody gets one popper. It's because he put it all together. Had it been separated, if it would be separated, the man Zavan, whichever pile of money he took and bought it with, that's who he purchased it for. Well, the man loy Zavan. Obviously, this is not halacha in Rebbes, just halacha in Mekach u'Memkar. Omer Av Papi Mishmei de Rava. Haisi tumto kanya, another halacha in Mekach u'Memkar. You're probably wondering, let's say the Paiskim ask a shaila today. You get on the phone and you buy a treadmill on the phone. You give the guy a credit card. You're kained at that point. When were you kained? When it comes to your house and you do hagbah, meshicha, you give the guy all the money, credit card. So there's some that say that because of this halacha here, and it's very negaya, we'll talk about Mendy in a second. We'll get there. Haisi tumto kanya. What is this? This. If you have a barrel that has your stempel on it, you go to the wine guy and you say, you know what, I want this barrel. Boom, give a stempel. You engrave your name in it. There's no money, there's no hagbah, there's no mashicha, nothing. You wrote your name on it. Koina or not koina? Haisi tumto kanya. L'mayilchasa. Rav Chaviv Amar l'mikanya mamish, that it's literally a real kinyan. We made up a kinyan. It's called a stamp. You ever heard of such a kinyan? I never heard of such a kinyan. But we need to talk about it. Why? Because it's something that happens till this very day. I want to say no, don't exaggerate. There's mashicha, there's kinyan agav. There's no such thing called situmta. The halacha is that if you do this, you put your mark on a barrel, you get a mishapara. So first of all, let's see. This is something new in Shas. We have to remember this. Situmta, kinyan situmta. Mishapara, as we know, is a curse for whoever says he's going to make a kinyan and he doesn't, he backs out, but he did some ma'isa, he gave money. B'deraisa money is kaina, but we paskin mois loy kainas. But if you give somebody money and you back out, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the one who cursed, the one who took care of the Dara Mabel, he's going to take care of you. Says the Gemara, Ba'asr d'nehigu l'miknei mamish kani. Mamish kani. So, today, Adiyam Hazeh, in the Diamond District, if you're talking about a deal with somebody, the guy says, I want $1,000 for the carrot. And the guy says, how about $850? So without it saying yes, no, the guy says mazel, right? It's over. It's over. He said words, mazel, it's over. Why? Where did they get this from? What kind of kinyan is it? There's no Mashiach, there's no Akbar, nothing. It's a made-up kinyan. You're allowed to make up a kinyan. It's called Situmta. That is the minhag hamakom.
Only mazel brach. You have to say the right form.
Yeah, but mazel bracha is a form. But I think you have here a guy. What about an Indian that doesn't know how to say mazel bracha? They say mazel. Mazel works. They say mazel bracha. Okay, mazel bracha. Okay, right. Fine. When we get into the Diamond District, we'll know the exact form. My point is, you could say a word without making a kinyan, and it works. No, that's not so partial what you're saying. I know that there's a neither if words work, but if you say mazel bracha in this, it's a kid. He could sue the guy. Rabbi Schoenberg wrote a whole article on it. You say, ask Mendy. No, Mendy, mazel bracha works? But does it work? 100? It's finished. No, there is a discussion of words. If words. The idea, this is the idea.
Is that you don't have to do any other kinyan.
There might be, there's some that say that in our Gemara there's actual Maisa because he put a stamp on the barrel, so it's different than words or not. But we're going to go with this idea that words are enough. Because of this halacha of Situmta, it's enough. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Hayahu tchila lakoitzrim. So now we have a sugya that basically repeats itself. It goes like this. We said we know that for certain halachas, like psika ala peiros, or even sa b'sa, meaning if a person purchases a future contract, I give you $100 today, you give me $100 worth of fruit. Now, if the price of the fruit goes up, that's your problem. I paid you now, so you have to give me the fruit as is. So we said, but you have to yeshloi. On condition that the seller has it in stock, or there's a steady price in the market, yotza ashar, yeshloi yotza ashar. So what if the guy doesn't really have the product? He has a product that's 5 steps removed. Instead of having flour, he has a bunch of raw wheat that was just harvested yesterday. It's like green. It's still. Is that considered yeshloi? So Yoshi put this together. I'm not saying it's the most. It's to give a l'saber soizen, the different steps and certain things. So let's say we're talking about wheat over here. It says you put it in a gadish. Here's a gadish like that. You have to dry it out. Yibush, disha, I'm all the way on the right side. Disha, you have to thresh it. Zoyri, you have to winnow. You have to throw it up in the air and then separate the chaff from the wheat. Later on, you have to still grind it, etc. Wine, you have to put it in a vat. It has to heat up, has to bubble, boil up. Then you put it into the vat. You step on it, drichas baga. You have to, people step all over it, the whole thing. And then you have to move it from one pit to another pit. It's all oil, the same thing. So how many steps away is considered yeshloi? I just took the grapes right off the vine. Do I have wine? I have to do all these steps. Look how many steps I have in wine. I have at least 5 steps here. Omarav, mechusar shtayim poisek. If you have 2 steps removed, that's enough. So all the Gemara is going to do here, it's a very, very simple Gemara all the way to the bottom. Oh, but it's 3 steps, it's 4 steps. Okay, so let's take off a couple steps that happen. We're already involved in the process. It's only 2 steps. The entire time we're going to get to the point where we only have 2 steps away, and that's why I can do poisek. It's as if I have it. I'm the wholesaler. I'm selling wine. I have grapes that just came off the vine that's too far away from being considered yeshloi. Rav says 2 steps. So I have to be at least that the grapes are already in the vat, it bubbled over. I'm only 2 steps away. Shalosh, any poisek, too much. So basically we're going to concentrate on Rav more than Shmuel. Ushmuel Omar b'dei Adam afidu meya poisek. Shmuel says no, if it's dependent on a human being, then it could be 100 steps away. He'll do all 100 steps. So it's yeshloi. As long as you have the basic ingredients, you have the grapes, he'll get to the wine. But if I'm dependent on shomayim, in other words, I need a good wind, so you can't produce a wind. Then even one step away is not good. So now we're going to go through all these different things, 5, 6 different types of products that were mentioned in the Mishnah. Now, a guy has a big pile of wheat. Isn't that too far away from being considered that he has it? You have to put it in the sun to dry out. You have to thresh. You have to winnow. Here, we got a couple pictures here. This is disha. This is winnowing. You take it, you try to separate the light part from the actual grain, or here's the actual people doing it. Says the Gemara, we're talking about the first 2 steps are already done. You put it in the first step, it's done. You put it in the sun, it's dried out. Since one of these steps, you need Hashem to help you out over here. I mean, all steps you need Hashem, but okay, it's not something that you could do on your own. You need the wind. Winnowing, here, this picture right over here, you need the big wind to come and blow things around. So according to Shmuel, that says that anytime you need something, even one step away is not good. So if you're just missing this one step of winnowing, it's all over. It's not considered yeshlai. Says the Gemara, there's a way out of it that you can do it with human intervention. I'm sure this is how they do it today. In the big factories, I don't think they're sitting there blowing it using the wind. They use a kli, they use some sort of device that separates a sieve that separates the chaff from the grain. Vala ovid shelanovim. Okay, we're moving on to the next one. This is ovid shelanovim. Ask the Gemara, you have to ripen it out in the vat. It has to sit there and it has to ferment and bubble and heat up. Here's a little bit of a video if you guys want. They say here in Eretz Yisrael, because there's a lime, so it's very, very good. It's very easy to cut the lime into these shapes. That's why you see it all over Eretz Yisrael. And it doesn't leak. It holds it's not porous. Yeah. Here's the guy stepping on it. Geschmack. And here it is. It's very. After you watch this, you want to drink wine.
It's the Castel factory.
Yeah. Anyway, these are all the steps. Rabbi said there's a lot of steps. So how could you say that you're right there, you have some grapes, you have to ripen it, you have to bring it into the wine press to step on, so this is interesting. We'll see with wine, with olives, with all these other things, we have lemingad. You have to pour it. So we have one more picture here. So this is based on the ones found here in Eretz Yisrael. In the larger one is where people did all the stepping, and then it pours out. There's a plug. You open the plug, it pours out to the small vat. But at the end of the day, you have to gather it from one of these vats and put it in a barrel. That's also a malacha. It's not ready to ship off and sell when it's in. I just want to pause here for a second. They came to Rav Steinman about a bacher. They said, should we give him mussar or not? He doesn't want to learn. So he said, when it comes to wine, we see in the Gemara that step one is to take the wine, put it in a vat, and you let it sit and ferment. He says, what's ferment? It has to warm up. And then you take it and you pounce, you beat it, you crush it. He says, before you give mussar to a bacher, first you have to warm him up a little bit, a little warmkeit. And then you can take a stick and hit him on the head. Huh? Then crush him, yeah. No, but usually the crushing comes first. And then when it's too late, then they start varming it up. It's too late. It doesn't work like that. You can't crush and then varm. Varm, then crush. You have to know the process. So you're asking me, what about lemingad? What about the pouring, the whole pouring process? Okay, so we already learned when it comes later, we'll see in a second. When it comes to olives, that it's already, there's a few steps already done, it's ready to go. Ask the Gemara, even if you take off one step, we're still missing 3 steps, there's still 3 steps removed. Says the Gemara, Ba'asher dahu dezav and hu denagid. We're talking about that the buyer, he goes into the vat, he removes the wine. So that's not even a step that we're worried about. Okay, so we're down to 2 steps away. It's considered yeshloi. Ba'alamato and shalzeisim. Nachamal, why not? Oops. Get out of this one. Here we go. In case you don't know how to make olive oil, so these are some of the steps. Take the olives and you crush them. That's why when you go to these places here in Israel, you see that round thing. That's what's left from the presses. Oh, and this is very important. You take the olives, you put into this little, and then you, now the basket, then you press it. That's one of the steps we're going to be talking about, this pressing process. It squeezes the oil out, and then you have nice oil. Okay, so as the Gemara, you have to ripen these the olives in a vat, warm them up, and then you put it into the oil press, and then lemeidash, tread, and then you have to gather it. You have to, like that guy did all the way at the end. You have to take that kli, and then you pour it. It's another step. You have to bottle it. Okay, let's call it bottle. It's a step. We're already talking about, it's already at the koimer part. Says Gemara, but still you have 3 steps. Same answer that we had before. The guy that purchases it, he's the one that bottles it. So here is a beitza shel yotzer, one little, or here, this is a better one. That little round guy, 1 ball of clay. Is that enough or not? It's very far from being a kli. You have to shape it into whatever shape you're doing here, like this guy. And then you have to dry it out. It's still clay, so you have to dry it out. You have to put it in a kiln. Burn it. And then you have to take it out. Famous Maisa, there was a guy that was a Rav, very, very close to the king. And of course, there were people that were very jealous of him. So this guy comes up with a plan to get rid of the rabbi. He says he's going to take some of the king's stationery, take the king's king's not looking, take his stamp, and make some bluff. So he wrote something funny in a piece of paper, he stamped it and everything, and then he went to the king and he said, look what the Jew did. He used your stamp, he pretended it was him. Forgery. The king was furious and he said, okay, we gotta kill the guy. He said, I want to do it like shtilah, nobody knows. He goes to the owner of the earthenware factory and he says, listen, there's a guy that's going to come to you today and he's going to say, did you do what the king told you to do? If the guy says that, whoever says it, you take him, you lift him up, you throw him right into the fire. Kill him. I don't care if it's your own son, I don't care if it's my son, whoever it is, you pick him up, you throw him in. So the Rav leaves, the Rav leaves and he says, he comes to the king says, listen, you gotta... It's Ma'aser Shaya. I only say Ma'aser Shaya.
No, this happens to be a true story.
He checks all those... This is a true Ma'aser Shaya. Not only could be. So he writes this, Marcus Lehman. He's related to me because my son-in-law is a Lehman.
My wife.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're related, that's it. Finally. Wow. So... He goes to the king, and the king says, listen, I need you, before we discuss it, I need you to go to the earthenware place and ask him if he did what I told him to do. All right, he says, no problem. So he leaves the palace, and he's walking, and all of a sudden a Jew comes over and says, listen, Rabbi, we need a moil. There's a bris right now. We need a moil. So he's thinking, the king told me to go. I'll do it later. Hashem, Tzivi Hashem, bris comes first. So he goes, does the bris. And then he was there, drasha, he in the hair, maybe drank a little bit. Meanwhile, the Meiser guy, he goes to the earthenware place. He's all excited. He says, no, did you do what the king told you to do? So he picks him up and throws him into the fire. And as he's going in, he says, no, I didn't mean to forge it. He was Moed ala emes, Shama Yisrael. Says the Gemara, he go into the Malafafa v'Yivishu. Moed the Gemaisa. He go into the Malafafa v'Yivishu. We're talking about a situation, it's already formed, it's already dry. So we're only 3 steps away, and it's considered yeshloi, as the Gemara last 3 steps away is not good. We're talking about in a place where the person who purchases it, he's the one that takes it out, he packages it. So we only have 2 steps away. That's why it's considered that he has it. And therefore, you could do what? I could do a forward contract. I have all the necessary stuff. I could do the deal right now today. I'll do it next month, but I could do it today. Put the lime into the kiln, whatever it is. So when we talk about lime, we have to say this mindset, even though I might have said it a week ago, which I didn't. But I think it's a very important mindset, and it's important for everybody, especially us, people that live here in Ramat Bet Shemesh. We have a lot of neighbors, and this very negeh, the famous mindset with Rebbe U'Mori. His neighbor knocks on his door and says, Rebbe, I have bad news. When you did the lime in your house, that extra thing, a lot of it went into the toilet and backed up my plumbing. You owe me 1,000 shekel. I get a plumber, does that. So Rebbe U'Mori said, okay, yeah, goes, get some 1,000 shekel, gives him 1,000 shekel. When the guy leaves, Rebbe U'Mori turned to whoever was there and he said, listen, there's 3 reasons why I didn't have to pay him. First of all, the lime doesn't clog toilets. It mixes with the water. That's not how it works. Say. B, he lives on the other side of the building. We don't share the same pipes, sewage pipes. If you know the buildings in Israel, there's pipes on one side, pipes on the other. There's different apartments. It's different sewage, nothing to do with me. Number 3, I haven't used lime in my house already for many years. We didn't do any renovation, nothing. So so why did you pay him 1,000 shekel? He said, you pay him 1,000 shekel because to get along with the neighbors. Get along with the neighbors. So I'm not saying that we're on that madrega, you should just give out 1,000 shekel, but sometimes neighbors say shtusim, neighbors do crazy things. Get along with the neighbors. So the Gemara.
I have a toilet clogged in my house.
So the Israelis did it better last night. When I said the story, somebody called up already. They had people calling. It's different. Says the Gemara, what about the fact you have to burn it? Vapuke, take it out. Umeidak. So Meidak works like this. Let's see if we have a shtickle. This is Geschmack. Is this Klicheres? No, we're already by Sid. So it doesn't matter. Well, we could do it like this. Hold on. This is earthenware stuff. Fine. If you're ready, we passed it, but okay, we're allowed to go back for a minute. He got a Birusha, it's not so pashut how he. Oh, this is Malafafe. The guy looks a shtickle like the Charis, no, whatever. Those are the big, I like those. Those are where they used to store the wine in those giant things. Great. Okay. Now, Sid. This is the steps of making lime. And this is what we're talking about right over here. So it comes out of the oven in like these hard, rocky formations. And as they're hot, you take water, Rashi says, you pour it on it, and it like explodes and it becomes like almost like flour. It crumbles. So that's what the Gemara says. Umeidak. It crumbles. You have to do the crumbling process. Says Gemara, who daik? The person who buys it, he's the one that crumbles it. Shmuel says it doesn't matter how many steps. It can be 100 steps. It's still considered yeshlei. Why do you have to put it in the kiln? Even before that, a step before is also okay. I could take it and put it in the oven. You're right. As long as it's available for that, you have the ingredient and you could put it in the oven, it's considered yeshlei. You have to form them. Divrei Rebbe Meir. When do you have to form them? When we're talking about the white dirt. If it comes from these places, it's so available that it's fine. Here, you want to see an oven that they do the sid. This is the lime oven. Gevaldi. Okay. Says the Gemara, very interesting. So we have 2 shittas. Either you need to have it to a place where it's already formed. You need this earthenware to be formed. Or you don't even have to have it at all. As long as down the block somebody has dirt and he has that, that's enough. I don't need it. So then we have to understand what's going on here in this line. You would pay for the black dirt, Miki Maili Afro, when they delivered it to him. So it's nishtahi nishtaher. It's not in a form. It's not formed. It's in a box of dirt, and it's not down the block. So which one is it? It's in his house in a box, but it's not formed. You have to form it. Says Gemara goes like the dirt is very expensive. Since it's so expensive, if you give it to me in a box and it's in my house, okay, I'll commit. Since it's so expensive, if you don't give it to me, it's not considered that yesh loy. So let's just go back for a second to Amud Beis real quickly, if you could. In the Mishnah, it says like this. We're talking about manure, fertilizer. What's the halacha? So like 3 lines before the end of the Mishnah, smack in the middle of the Mishnah. 4 lines. I could do psika ala peres. I could do a forward contract on manure all year round. Why? This is the Tanakama. All year round. The svara is, I have animals. My animals produce fertilizer all year round. They don't stop one season, other. There's always zevel. So it's considered yeshloi. Rebbe Yossi Omer, ein poisken ala zevel imkein hoisoloi zevel bashbar. This is absolutely not. There's no yeshloi by zevel. You can't buy it. It's not something you're buying. Either you have it or you don't have it. And then it says v'chachamim matirim. L'chayra chachamim are not adding anything to what the Tanakama said. Tanakama says you could do zevel, you could do psika ala peres on zevel, you could do a forward contract on manure, on fertilizer all year round. The chachamim matirim, chachamim say you can do it all year round. No. So what the Gemara says, very pashut here. Let's just see it in here. So as a classic machloikis, you have the two extremes. You have the Tanakama that says manure, fertilizer is considered yeshloi the entire year. Forget Chacham for a second. You have Rebbe Yossi that says manure is not ein yeshloi. It's not yeshloi. And then you have Chachamim in the middle that they say part of the year it's yeshloi, part of the year it's ein loi. In the summer it's yeshloi, in the winter not. The way they used to do it, and it's unbelievable to think about. Just picture yourself like like we're used to Pesach night. You have to sit there and pretend you're coming out of Mitzrayim. You have to pretend that you live in the time of the Gemara, and your neighbor decides to take the waste of his animals and put it in middle on the sidewalk in a nice pile, so that everybody who walks by steps on it and makes it more geschmack, more juicy, and more fertilizer. That's what it was. It's normal. Come back, your shoes are full. Your wife's schmack. Smells like the winter. Gewaldig. So in the winter, it's not ready yet. In the summer, after the whole year, people going back and forth. It's not one day. It's all year round. You come to shul like that. What shoes are we talking about already? Can she first tell them what they had? The little Mordek, mamish Mordek. Says the Gemara.
Went to step on the wine.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was without shoes. Without shoes. Says the Gemara. Well, last line on the Amud. Adelman Amud Aleph. Chacham and Tanakama. It seems like Chacham is saying the exact same thing as the Tanakama. Omarova. That according to Chachamim in the summer it's yeshloi because he has the fertilizer, but in the winter it's ein loi. Happens to be that even fertilizer, the Rashi brings that Yitzchak Avinu, his fertilizer, one shovelful of his fertilizer was worth more than the shovelful of Avimelech's gold. So you can make money on fertilizer. Some people become multimillionaires on toilet paper, tissue, whatever it is. Whatever you sell, you can make money on. That's the bottom line. I don't know what happened to my. Oh, here it is. Turning of the Daf by Eric Adelman of Bigger Cup Consulting and Chanie and Paul Schuster with Hakaras Hatov to Fishel, Simcha and Ner Tamid for bringing Rebbe MDY and DafYomi into our lives. So, remember we had this the example, let's say, of a magazine, a subscription to a magazine, to the Ami, to the Mishpacha magazine. If you give the money up front in the beginning of the year, you get a better deal. If you have to purchase it every week, you don't get such a great deal. Now what happens, the guy gives $1,000 in the beginning of the year for his subscription. For whatever reason, the magazines decided they're going to do a crazy sale, $500, in the middle of the year, it becomes $500. Now the guy, he gave $1,000 in the beginning of the year, and now it's not fair. The price just went down. Had he not given all the money up front, he would have gained money. So what do? We had a machlokes in the Mishnah. According to the Tanna Kama, if he stipulated and he said, Mefurish, I'm only giving you the $1,000 on condition it doesn't go down. But if the price goes down, you're going to have to make the difference. Then you have to give the difference. But according to Rebbe Yehuda, you don't have to make such a Tanai, you don't have to make a stipulation. Why? Because it's obvious. Everybody knows. Why did the guy pay so much money in the beginning of the year? Because he wants a better deal. So if it goes down in price, you either give the money back or you shteltzu, you give him the new price. Says the Gemara, big mistake. He made a deal with his father-in-law. He's getting married. He says, his father-in-law says, I hear that you're going to be in the district over there. Buy me some jewelry for the chasana. I need some jewelry. Here. So he made him a shliach. He makes his son-in-law a shliach to go purchase things for him. L'soif zal nedunya. The price of the jewelry went down. Now the chassan, he wants to take it back. He made a deal with the jeweler. He says, my future shver asked me to make a deal. I would like to buy a few diamonds from you. Let's make a deal. Let's say he even gave him a down payment. Now we said mois ain't kindness. There's no mazal bracha in those days. He gave him a $100 deposit. He's going to get a carrot for $1,000. Then the carrot dropped to $500. So he goes back and he says, "Listen, I want to take the deal back. My future shver is going to be very upset at me. I did a terrible deal. I didn't know the price is going to drop." Zok Gemara, Ahu gaver the Yov Zuzal Nedunya the Bechamur L'soif Zal Nedunya. The price dropped, and the chassan guy he wants to take it back. Also, the Kamei Rav Papa. So they went to Rav Papa. Amar Lei. Well, it depends. Based on our Mishnah, we're going to go like the Tanna Kama. That's the majority opinion, not Reb Shimon. I mean Rebbe Yehuda, not Rebbe Yehuda. Ipasakti moi kishar gavoya. Again, kishar gavoya just means the best, right? Not the high. We're talking about low, actually, now. The price went lower. So if you told him, I want the best deal, the best price, meaning the lower price, kishar gavoya, the lower price, shokal kahashto. Then you could get the lower price. You made up with him. He said, listen, I'm giving you a down payment. Give me the diamonds at whatever the lowest price is. Okay, so he gets it. Viloi, if you didn't stipulate, you just made a deal. Shakal ki mikara. Then he has to pay the higher price. Wait a minute. What locked him in? Because he gave a down payment? Down payment is not a kinyan. Money is not koina. So what's the Gemara's answer? You're right, there's no kinyan. But there's something called a mishapara. There's a curse. I wasn't saying that he's chayiv. If he wants to save his life and not get cursed by Hashem, then he should stick with it. It's not a good idea to get married with such a curse on you. If they made up like that he could get the best price, the moicher doesn't want to take it back. Why? He likes the high price that he gave him initially. So if he takes it back, then the seller who wants the higher price and he's regretting it now because the price is dropped and he doesn't want to give him the lower price, he's going to get a mishapara. Eloi pasak. And if they didn't make a deal, and the chassan guy, the purchaser, he takes it back. The chassan will get a mishapara. That's all I meant. Rav Papa said, whoever takes it back and they shouldn't take it back gets a mishapara. You know what? Let me just show you what I did here to make it a little easier. Benny, where's Benny? He just left. Oh, okay, fine. We have the Tanna Kama that says, if you don't stipulate specifically that I want the best price, you can't take it back. Why? So we just said it goes according to Rabbanan, the mois loy koinos. Money, but there's a problem of mishapara on the bottom. Okay, and Rebbe Yehuda, forget about Reb Shimon on the bottom. Rebbe Yehuda says you could take it back. Says Gemara, who told you that the Tanakam in our Mishnah goes like Rabbanan? Rabbanan hold that you cannot buy anything with money. So what's holding him in place? What's forcing him not to take anything back? A curse. Not a real kinyan, but a curse. So Gemara, who told you? Maybe it goes like Reb Shimon. The reason why you're locked in, because they hold like Reb Shimon that says, Mois Kainas. That's why you're locked in. Not because of a curse, but because it's actually a real kinyan. The problem with that is, in other words, the Gemara says, who forced you to say they hold like Rabbanan? Maybe hold like Reb Shimon, but if you hold like Reb Shimon, that's a das yachid. We don't pass it like that. But who told you that that Tanakama and Rabbanan line up? Maybe it's Tanakama with the Reb Shimon. Either way you look at it, either it's Reb Shimon or Rabbanan, both tell you you're locked in, either because there's a curse or because there's a kinyan. So let's see inside. Oh, Malay Ravina Papa. Last night I didn't have this, and I think Adelman was kind of lost in this little part over here. I think it helps the visual. Why? Because of a mishapara, you have to stick to your guns. You made a deal. Dilma Rebbe Shimoni. Maybe the Tanakama goes with Reb Shimon. No, you're locked in because there's a real kinyan here. You're locked in. Why are you locked in? Because Mois Kainas. You give a down payment. The Daidin is Shatar Zila. Oh, so over here the Gemara says, there's a svar to say, there's no Mishapara according to Rabbanan, maybe. Who told you there's a Mishapara here? It's much better for us to say that Tanakama goes with Reb Shimon than Mois Kainas. Rabbanan say there's a Mishapara, but not in this case. Why? Because with the Mishpacha magazine, I give $1,000 in the beginning of the year. Everybody knows that I'm not crazy. Why would I put out $1,000? Because I want the best deal. And if the price of the magazine goes down, then I don't want that deal. And you, the seller of the magazine, know that I don't want that deal. There's no Mishapara, there's no curse here. When did Reb Shimon say that this Mois Kainos when there's one price? Even he won't say in such a case when there's a fluctuation in prices and the Chasen, let's say in a Chasen case. Chasen goes to the deal and says, listen, my shver wants some diamonds next month. He's not going to lock in with Mois Kainos. Reb Shimon is not going to say that money buys in such a situation. Money buys when you go to the store and I'm buying right now and there's one price. But when there's a fluctuation in the diamond district, Reb Shimon is not going to say that Mois Kainos. Mois doesn't buy it. And I'll prove it to you that Reb Shimon has to hold that. Then it comes out, if Reb Shimon in every single situation will hold, that when you buy something with money, the buyer is locked in, so how in the world is there ever a curse on the buyer? There'll never be a curse on a buyer. There's no concept of mishapara at all to the buyer. What happened? He gave money, boom, he's locked in. What does mishapara mean? Mishapara means I could get out of it. I gave money and now I want to take it back. But we made a deal, so there's a curse. But according to Reb Shimon, there's no taking back. You can't say, hey, give me my money back. So if I can't take it back, so I'm never cursed. The seller is a different story. We're not going to get into it. The seller could take it back. Even when he gets the money. What? What else? Oh, just words? No, money. You have to do a maisa. Yeah. Says the Gemara. And maybe you'll say that Reb Shimon actually holds that there is no curse on a buyer. No, that can't be. But Tanya, because Reb Shimon himself said in our Masechta, in Azav, Mikol Makom Kach Halacha. This is Reb Shimon's words. Mikol Makom Kach Halacha. This is the halacha. You're right. You don't have to stick to your guns. Mishapara. There is a Mishapara on what? On Mikol Makom. What does Mikol Makom mean? In every situation. That there's a curse on the buyer. So you see the Reb Shimon holds there's a curse on the buyer. So what's the pshat? How is there a curse on a buyer? When is Mois Koinois? When are you locked in? You can't take it back. When there's only one price. But when the price goes up and down and fluctuates, he never said that Mois Koinois. So here's the case. In the case of the diamonds, he gave a deposit. The buyer, the chassan, gave a deposit, and then the price fluctuated, and now he wants to take it back. Oh, there's going to be a mishapara on the buyer, even according to Reb Shimon. Why? Because of the fluctuation in the price. Now let's go back to the story of the chassan. What happened? Chassan is asked by his future father-in-law, make a deal on diamonds. He makes a deal, and then the shlamaz al-nebach, the prices of diamonds in the whole world, they dropped. There's the whole lab thing, boom, everything drops. So now he feels like an idiot. He wasn't a good shliach. So he wants to take it back. But why is there mishapara on him? First of all, he's only a shliach. He's sent by his father-in-law. So why should he be cursed? And the father-in-law shouldn't be cursed because he didn't do anything. It's the son-in-law that did it. Bekitzer, you could get out of a mishapara by sending a shliach. There's no shlichus over here. What happened was, the father-in-law made a deal with the son-in-law. He says, listen, you want to make some money? Get me some jewelry. Here's $5,000. I don't care what you do there. And he, the son-in-law, without being a shliach to the father-in-law, went and did a deal, a diamond deal, one-on-one. He's already not in yeshiva, this guy. He's a working bacher. He was a seicher. He was already in the diamond district. That was his job. He had a business. So he's not a shliach of his father-in-law to go buy. His father-in-law said, here, I want a carat diamond, here's $1,000. Then he went and he did a deal with the guy, he gave a down payment. So it's really between him and the diamond dealer. So there's no shlichus here. Forget the father-in-law, he's out of the picture. It's just a story that happened like that. But what really happened was this chassan made a deal in the diamond district and he wanted to regret the deal. Could he or can't? Zog Mishnah. What? Yeah. There's a mishbar, because if it was a shliach, then there wouldn't be a mishbar. It's a one-on-one, and that's why there's a mishbar. Says the Mishnah. Oh, Mishnah sponsored in recognition of myself and the chevra of MDY. So the Mishnah says that a person could lend his sharecropper chitin bechitin lezera. So we know, we discussed it a number of times, saw b'saw. I lend you a box of wheat, you give me back a box of wheat. That's a no-no. Can't do that. Maybe the prices will fluctuate, it'll be a problem with Rebbes. But if you are my sharecropper, you have a deal with me. I own a field, and you work the field, and you take 50%, you take a third, whatever it is. So now we're going to see in the Gemara that there's different minhagim. Some have the minhag that the owner of the field provides the seeds, and some have the minhag that the sharecropper provides the seed. So in this case, says the Mishnah, he borrowed seeds from the owner. That's okay. Why? Because it's lezera. It's the plant in the field. But if he wants to eat them, then it's a regular case of saw b'saw. It doesn't work. Here, there's saw b'saw. Again, just to remind the olam, I borrowed one bowl. It's worth 20. I'm giving back the same amount, but it's worth more. That's a problem of saw b'saw. Rebbe Gamliel would do this. He would lend his sharecroppers the same amount on condition that they plant it. Regardless of what happened to the fluctuation in the prices, whether it went down in price or up in price, he would be machmar on himself and only take back the cheaper amount, not because that's how he paskin. Should we just do this piece over here? Okay, let's see how much we can do. So now we have a brayso that says it different than the Mishnah. It says the same halacha as the Mishnah, that I could lend my sharecropper wheat to get back the same amount of wheat, on condition that the sharecropper didn't jump into the field and start plowing. Once he goes in there, osur. As the Gemara, why is it that our Tana doesn't differentiate whether he started plowing the field, he went into the field or not? It doesn't mention anything about Yorad in our Mishnah. Rabbi Idi explained it to me. Because we're talking about different minhagim. Be'asra, the Tana did on Narisi of Bizra. Our mission is talking about a place where the sharecropper comes up with the seed. Ben Yorad or Ben Lo Yorad. So it doesn't matter whether he started plowing, didn't start plowing. Even if the sharecropper started plowing, it doesn't matter. He didn't provide what he needed to provide. He didn't come up with the seed. And once he goes in there, I tell the sharecropper, I'm going to give you 50% of my field if you do everything you need to do. The guy doesn't come up with the seeds, and he starts plowing. And then he comes to me, he says, hey, could I have some seeds? So now we're going to do a new deal. You're not going to get 50%. Now you're only going to get 30%. I'm providing you stuff. It's a new deal. We're starting all over. It's not a loan. The Gemara says it's not a loan. It's not that he borrowed seeds and he's giving back seed. We're making a new deal. Instead of you getting 50%, you're getting 30%. You understand? Great. But it's very simple. But in the Braisa, Mari Ari of Israel, the owner should be giving the seeds. Rashi explains, but he didn't give him seeds. Why? Because he felt that his field is worth a lot more than it's a great field. And the sharecropper is going to get an unbelievable product. So he should provide the seeds. Okay. If he didn't go in yet, then he could get rid of him. He could say, no, I don't want you. Nachas, when he goes in, Nachas, and he went in and he convinced him. It's just a very simple thing. He went and he started working there. So he started working there. That's it. We're partners. You can't redo the deal now. I went in. Then you come to me and say, listen, I don't want to provide you seeds. I want you to provide the seeds and I'll give you a gift, Rashi says. He tells the sharecropper, I'll give you a gift. You do. I don't have koyach now to go. You're ready. You're a farmer. You're doing other field. You go take care of the seeds. Oh, okay. That's a deal after they already established how much he's already getting 50% of the field. Now we're talking about seeds. Now we're talking about ribbis. That's why it would be also in that case. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.